I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to lock them up does rejoice. But still, the place you live in is that much more drab and empty that they're gone. I guess I just miss my friend. Colin Brennan could make anyone laugh. It was his gift. He had this air about him that could lighten up any room. Colin was friendly, lively, and charming, the life of the party. I will never forget that beautiful smile of his, or his passionate love of life. He was always finding something to be happy about. Colin was also very clever, the kind of guy who could get himself out of anything. For example, he got out of having to do chores by purposely and quite simply being really, really terrible at them. His mother couldn't tolerate how incredibly bad he was at them anymore, and finally just let him off the hook. Colin was such a clown, too. I remember we used to call him JC, short for Jim Carrey, because he was such a goofball. We all loved it, though. We were all secretly jealous of his ability to be so carefree. With him there are no cares in the world. Colin Brennan was one of the most truly amazing people I've ever had the honor of knowing in my life. I will always regret not taking the time to get closer to him. But that is my baggage to carry. Colin and I went to the same church. I met him in Life Teen, which was the name of our youth group. I would see him every Sunday, both at Mass and during Life Teen. We also both participated in a program where volunteers offer to act out the Stations of the Cross right before Easter. We had practices every Thursday for almost 2 hours. It was a lot of work, but we still always had an awesome time. We all grew together during those long Thursdays and through our performances. Colin and I both went to the same high school as well. I would often see him on the way to my classes, and we would stop to chat in the hallways. It's those little things that I miss, because I never got to know him better before he would be gone forever. Colin really had a great sense of humor, mainly because he had the great quality of always being able to laugh at himself. In fact, he loved making a fool of himself in order to get people to laugh, and he was really good at it too. Once my friend Stephanie dared Colin to put on a pair of her cheerleading shorts and pretend to give one of our literature teachers, Miss Havicos, a lap dance. Of course, it didn't take much convincing. When it came to it, Miss Havicos just laughed as Colin proceeded to run around the room embarrassing himself and sending the whole class into endless fits of laughter. The story spread through the school like wildfire before the day had ended. That was Colin in a nutshell, always causing havoc wherever he went. I'll never forget that morning. That horrible, horrible Monday morning. It was the first day of what was my sophomore year, and of what would have been Colin's senior year. August 6, 2007. We always had to make sure we got to school early to beat traffic, and as some friends and I made our way across the courtyard, we ran into a classmate of ours who was really upset. We asked her, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" After a minute or so, she finally choked out that Colin had died after being airlifted from a terrible car accident. She said her mom was a nurse and had been there when it happened. None of us could believe her, though, so we told her to calm down and that we were sure he was all right. We were still pretty shaken up regardless, so we went to go ask several teachers, but they didn't know about it. We even tried looking it up online, but couldn't find anything. Finally, we decided to go ask our literature teacher, who was very close with Colin, because we figured if anyone would know anything, it would be her. As soon as we walked into that room, though, we knew. The look on her face said it all, and she gave us a sad shake of the head before we even had to ask. Awful chills ran down my spine and sobs ripped apart at my throat. I could feel an eerie pit opening up in the bottom of my stomach, and the world started to spin. Tears began to burn at my eyes, and they burned all the way down my cheeks. A memory from the previous day stabbed me like a knife. I remember my brother telling us the night before that he had hit traffic outside our neighborhood from an awful wreck, and a sick feeling now told me it had been Colin. The rest of that day was a complete blur. It turned out that Colin crashed into a tree about 2 minutes away from his house on the way home from church. Of all things. He was airlifted from the scene but died the next morning. Our priest, Father Larry, said he had never seen so many people at a hospital for someone before. It didn't surprise me in the least. Everyone loved Colin. Everyone still loves Colin. He was an extremely caring person, and even though his life was short, he made such a strong impact on so many people. I'll never forget how difficult going to his funeral was. Seeing all those people there who were so absolutely devastated by his death just killed me. For months after Colin died, people left adornments of flowers by the tree he hit. A cross was put there too, as well as a sign that said, "Honk for Colin." He would have loved that, the chaos caused from all the random honking as people drove by. 3 years later, I still hear people honk as they drive by on occasion. It's amazing, really, how much people loved him. Losing Colin helped me realize that life should be lived to the fullest, because it really could end any minute, as it did so unexpectedly for Colin. It also helped me see the importance of truly appreciating the people in your life. I will never get to know Colin as well as I'd always wanted to, because I kept putting it off, and I regret that every day. I learned that too often we let life get in the way of the more meaningful things. I aspire so much to be like Colin, who was such a beautiful person and touched so many people's lives. I never got a chance to tell Colin how much I had always respected him and absolutely loved to be around him. If I could get the chance, I would apologize to him for not taking the time to become better friends. I would let him know too, though, that he taught me so much about life regardless, and I will always love him for that. Rest in peace, Colin Brennan. I'll carry your beautiful memory in my heart forever.